Your job is not to accomplish what only God can do in and through you. It is your job to be willing to walk with Him according to His plan that will get you to the fullness of His glory in your life. You already are an overcomer. So, I was out on a run. A friend of mine sends out a little devotional verse regularly. And today's verse was this. It says, little children, this is the amplified version of 1 John 4:4. I just came in from a run. And I was thinking about this verse. It was sitting right here when I left. 1 John 4:4 in the amplified says, little children, believers or dear ones, you are of God and you belong to Him. See, that's already the case. And have already overcome them, the agents of the Antichrist, the enemy. Because he who is in you is greater than he, Satan, who is in the world of sinful mankind. Again, that's 1 John 4:4 in the Amplified. I love that, and here's what I was thinking of on my run. Given my run today, I ran about 5 miles at a pretty slow pace, keeping my heart rate kind of low. And I thought, given my run today, there's no reason to think that I'm going to be able to run the pace that I should run for the distance that I'm going to run in a race a couple of months from now. Like if I just looked at the pace and distance today, well, then I'm in trouble. But the reality is, I've got a plan. And the plan I believe in, I trust in. I followed a plan from the same source previously, and it worked great. So I have every reason to think that this plan is going to work. And the plan says that if I run the pace that I ran today, the distance that I ran today, and I follow that plan tomorrow and next week, just like I did last week and the week before, then in a couple of months, I'll be able to run the distance and the speed that the plan is preparing me for. See, I don't have to worry about that distance and that speed today. Today, I just walk in the plan and every day just follow the plan. The question is not, can I run that distance at that speed? The question is, do I trust the plan? Is the plan a good plan? And am I willing to follow that plan today? See, if I'm scared about the plan not being good enough, then I'm going to make up my own plan. I'm going to start running further than I can, faster than I can, get injured again, and not be able to compete. If I just follow what the plan has for me today and tomorrow and next week and next month, then in a couple of months, I'll be able to go the distance and the speed that the plan is preparing me for. You today, as John says in 1 John 4:4, you dear beloved children, you are in God's plan. And I don't always feel like I am overcoming evil around me and in the world. I don't always feel like I'm winning that battle. Do you? Do you feel like you're winning the fight against a fallen world and a fallen humanity and an enemy that is working against us? I don't always feel that way. But see, I'm not trying to win every battle today. I'm just winning today's battle. And the way you win today's battle is you walk in God's plan for you today. If you're willing to walk in what He has for you today, and you're willing to walk in what only He can do in and through you tomorrow, and what only He can do in and through you next week, then ultimately His glory increasingly is revealed in us as we walk in Christ confidence in His plan, His love, His power, His finished work. And you are victorious and an overcomer in Christ, but you're still growing. And your feelings and experiences in the moment aren't always telling of the outcome of the battle. But if you'll walk in God's plan for you by grace today, then you will increasingly experience and express what only God can do in and through you. And today, He can give me victory even though the circumstances don't always look like a win. I can experience his life, his abundance, his joy, his peace in circumstances that are far from joyful, not always peaceful, sometimes chaotic and coming against me. I can experience the relationship I have in Christ with the Father as my Father. He has a plan to get me from where I am in my circumstances to the fullness of Christ and his victory with an already defeated foe. See, the outcome is already determined. But what I'm experiencing today is not exactly the same as the final outcome, is it? Just because he's already defeated, just because God has a perfect plan, just because I have fullness in Christ doesn't mean that my immediate circumstances and immediate feelings and immediate experiences are always indicative of the fullness of the glory of God. But they will be, friends, they will be. It's not up to you to figure out how you're going to get it done and be where you're supposed to be and do all you're supposed to do. No, God can do through you, through Christ in you, can do more than you could ever hope or imagine. Your job is not to accomplish what only God can do in and through you. It is your job to be willing to walk with him according to his plan that will get you to the fullness of his glory in your life. You already are an overcomer. You already get to walk according to the plan of his finished work. It's a guaranteed outcome. So today, walk in the fullness of his grace. Experience what only he can produce in and through you in circumstances that were never meant to be the source of joy and peace and happiness and fullness. That instead of living from the lie of lack presented by the enemy in your circumstances, you can live from the fullness of Christ in you, the hope of the glory of God. And his hope, my friends, according to Romans 5, never disappoints because of his love already poured out in our hearts in Jesus Christ. You can walk in Christ-confident joy and Christ-confident peace and Christ-confident abundance, even when the circumstances try to convince you of lacking and losing and failing and falling. That is not the truth in the temporal that we walk in the eternal. You can live in the fullness of Christ in circumstances that are far from full for you. That's the joy. So here's my challenge for us today. For us to look at our circumstances and God's plan for you in the moment and trusting him and walking in Christ's confidence in the immediate circumstance is not for you to overcome the circumstance, but to look to him as the one who's going to fulfill his plan for today and fulfill his plan for tomorrow and fulfill his plan for next week. That in all of those circumstances and amidst all of those mixed emotions, I would continually turn back to fix my eyes on Christ in me, that you would fix your eyes on Christ in you, that you would set your mind and heart on him. You're not the cause of what God's going to do in your life. You get to be the one who walks with him as he produces his life in and through you. And it'll be to the praise of the glory of his grace, not the effort of Mike or the competency of you, but his grace in and through us that will always spread the fragrance of his victorious life, according to Paul's letter to the Corinthians. So that, as Paul said, we can experience the glory of God that makes our current suffering, our current circumstances, the current state of the fallen world around us, even our own emotions at times, that they're not worthy of even comparing to the glory that we will ultimately experience. We walk in his plan by grace today and experience increasingly his glory in our lifetime because the foe is already defeated. You are already victorious. You're already an overcomer in Christ, but you get to walk out the plan to increasingly experience that guaranteed outcome of the fullness of Christ. So why wouldn't we walk in joy even when circumstances don't seem joyful, when we know the end result is joyful? And why couldn't we walk out today in Christ's confidence in his peace, even when our circumstances are chaotic, knowing that he's going to bring peace out of those circumstances? His plan will be fulfilled, your life will be full, and Christ himself will be the one who accomplishes it as you walk in his plan for you in Christ's confidence in his ridiculous grace today. I hope that encourages you, because what you do today and what you do tomorrow is the work of believing him and being willing to let him do in and through you what only he can accomplish by his constant faithfulness towards you. Have an awesome rest of your day. Thanks.